Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out here so everybody can join in here. 1 second. Make sure everything's coming through okay. Greetings, fellow traders. Good, good, good. All right, looks like we got things working. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Let me get this tweeted out here. 1 sec. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, cool. So this week we're going to be starting a brand new series that we haven't done yet, and this is called Analyze My Trade. And so we're going to see if this has any success, and with some popularity, see if we get some chart requests this week to be like, hey, this trade went really well, this trade didn't go so well, why didn't this trade work, or what do you think? Why did this trade work? It worked great. How do I repeat it? That type of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about Tesla. So we're going to be talking about Tesla from Friday. So this is a very interesting one. The question comes from Georgia, and really, yeah, Georgia, woo! Anyway, so it comes from why didn't Tesla break out? Right, because Friday is a very important day, right? So, and a lot of times you can have a lot of fun on Friday if we'll talk about the options on those in a little bit. But why didn't this one break out? So that's going to be the topic here of the day, so or of the week, basically. So, or the concept of the week. So anyway, so today. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off with the market on Friday, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we've got set in tonight, possibly going into tomorrow, and then we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So good stuff. So let's get started. So SPX, all right. So monthly chart, right? So monthly chart, we got 3 days left in the month. So far, the monthly chart is trying to rally a little bit right here. It was looking a little bit, it's still pretty sketchy, right? We're definitely looking at some dark cloud cover going into, so far, into next month, depending how high they can push this. If they can get over 50% of the range, dark cloud cover is over. But so it was testing a potential bearish engulfing candle on the monthly chart, which is kind of sketchy, right? But anyway, so it came down off the upper Bollinger Band, right? We closed above it right here, and then we pushed down here on the monthly chart. Weekly chart, though, quite a rally, right? So a bit of a hammer from last week. Last Friday's short squeezy type move got things pushing back up again. But remember, right? We were cautious going into these next couple weeks here into the election, obviously. But we had this big cloud canyon right here on the weekly chart, right? That kind of got things us a little bit concerned, right? And obviously this big red spinning top here didn't help at all, right? The big levels right here is this 34. Basically 34.25 area, 34.30, big area of resistance, right? So big drop right here. They tried to get there the last week and they pushed down off of it as well. So let's see if this week can start to try to get back into those ranges again. So we need to keep an eye on that. Here is the daily chart. So this is the big stuff. This is the big thing that we've been looking at right here. So the main thing is that we broke the upward trend line, right? And that started us into our trend box, right? So what you do is you go to your you draw your trend line, right? You go to the highs to the lows, and you find the pivot point that doesn't intersect any other one, so right there, and we broke down below that, right? So things started to get a little bit sketchy here, right, off of that big red spinning top week, right? So that started to get things down. But the main thing that was a big concern with this is that even though it was a fast impulsive move down, we didn't really get any major follow through, right? We didn't see the Corona crash, right? So like this, it was like, wow, we started to break down here, and blah, right? So and then here's one up moving, then wave two down, and then there we go. So here it's been a little bit more controlled, and so to us this is looking a lot like a zigzag pattern off of Elliott wave. And we are still contained by the trend box right here. Why? Because we haven't closed below any of these prior trend box breakdown levels with any sort of volume. Like here, this was the one that closed below it, but no volume on that day. And obviously we gapped up the next day and started to go, right? This one right here, right? Also similar, right? Lower shadow, so that lowers the trend box. Again, lower shadow, lower shadow, lower shadow, lower shadow, right? So we keep on bouncing off of this. So that shows that we are in this corrective pattern right now. And so the corrective pattern that we're looking at, Elliott wave-wise, is zigzag, right? So zigzag is a 5-3-5. So an impulsive move down, ABC 3, and then another impulsive move down. So it is possible that this is done. So maybe this the short squeezing that's going on right here, we got right to the ADMA on this one. It's possible that the bulls might step up and start to push this thing even more. So what I really want to see is a nice close above the 50-day in the cloud, right? And then to kind of confirm that, hey, we are really breaking out of these levels right here. And kind of the cool thing too on SPX is that we broke out of what we sort of kind of poked its head out of the downward channel, the corrective channel, right? So that's kind of another indication that, hey, maybe we are really trying to end this corrective pattern and start a fresh wave up. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of track this, right? We'll see if we get bullish, right? And then see if we can close above the 50-day, and then we're going to look for maybe a retrace, possibly a 618 for a wave 2, and then see if we can start to work our way back up, right? So that's kind of what we're focusing on here going forward, and we'll see how it handles the trend box as well. I mean, if they just totally reject these levels and the bears set up and there's bad news and there's war in Iraq and all that stuff, right, we could get some nasty red candles and who knows, get to the 200-day and possibly continue to ride this channel down. So there's definitely a big area of interest right here. So one of the big concerns too, right, that I've been getting too is like, how come there's issues with trading going on right now? I'm not as successful as I was back here when we were trending up, right? Well, that's because we're trending up, right? So it's easier to find long setups when we're trending, right? We're holding the trend line, everything's great, everything's awesome. Now we're in a corrective pattern. It's very hard to trade in the corrective pattern, right? So if we assumed that this was an ABC, so we were looking for more short setups through this range right here on the intraday basis, and that helped us be successful in that. And now that we're looking like maybe we're trying to break out of this corrective pattern, we start to look for maybe some more long setup type things, but we're still very cautious in a corrective pattern since we're not necessarily trending right now. So that's sort of like a good overview before we go look at Tesla to kind of see what's going on there, right? So it's a little bit tricky, right? But it was a strong market on Friday, and so we'll look at a little bit why Tesla didn't break out. So let's take a look at the price action from Friday on the SPX. So we had an interesting day, right? So we actually gapped down a little bit. We had a closing gap there and filled it pretty quickly, and then kind of pushed down, and then really got really choppy. But this was a very interesting area on Friday, right? So we had a nasty down move right here, but look, it couldn't get below these levels of the prior day, right? So you can see here, right, just kind of held these areas, right? So these levels right here and just kind of bounced off of that, right? And there was some pretty key bounce areas from the day before. So we bounced off of this, and that was a very strong candle on the 15-minute chart, right? Got over the 15 orb, and then that got some follow through on that one, and then of course we had some nice retraces, and then that ADMA is a very, very important one to make sure that we hold to see if this thing's gonna get some follow through. And it was a nice ADMA day for the rest of the day on SPX. So beautiful stuff there, right? So let's take a look at the levels that we provide. Remember, storage market open, so you can see here, right? We have a lot of levels right here. We have a lot of volumetric levels right here. Big bounce off of this area, right? Important stuff, right? That once we got over the this weekly level, right? We got to the next level pretty nicely, held it, right? I believe it gave it inside. Was it inside 15 there? Yeah, inside 15 here, right? And that was a beautiful 3-candle move up into the end of the day. Okay. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at the futures and see how they're behaving here this evening, going into tomorrow, and see what we can see here. So a couple important stuff that we work with. We use supply and demand zones when we're trading futures, which helps us trade our SPY trades. So this is a very, very big area, right? So starting off the day on Friday, we kind of had this megaphone type formation going on in the morning, right? Really, really kind of big back and forth choppy action. We don't want to trade in this, right? This is kind of nasty, right? And we're also between a couple signal zones right here. So we never really tested until pre-market. They took some fun out of that. They did basically just bottom ticked it right there and gave a pretty nice move up. And then we got really, really choppy, and then we finally got to the signal zone. Now we didn't reject it, right? So that's a key concept, right? We couldn't break down below the signal zone. Then we came back up here and we did reject this signal zone. That was a drop zone from earlier, and then we bounced off of this one, and then we had a higher low off of it, and that got us to the next zone right here. Very, very tight stuff. Once we broke out through this signal zone right here with some increased volume, we paused. That was your inside 15, and that got us up to the next signal zone. And the fact that we really couldn't drop down out of this showed that it was pretty bullish going into Sunday. And so they gapped it up here this evening, and are just kind of chopping here at the top of this signal zone area, and now we just have to see how that holds going into tomorrow. So let's put a couple geometric lines on here and see how they're going to hold going into then. So we got, this is a big one here to look at, right? Here's a kind of a channelish type move right here. We're kind of below that right here, so let's see if we can pivot off that and if it gives us a fresh channel there. So you can see it's just kind of working its way up, but really, really choppy now going into tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes into the rest of the evening and into the morning. So good stuff there. All right, cool. So let's go and let's take a look at the topic here. And again, this week we're going to be doing Analyze My Trade. And I don't know how I'm going to do it during the week. I might tweet out maybe around 6 o'clock, be like, hey, send me your trade, send me your trades, and we'll pick one that looks interesting, maybe a good one, maybe a bad one, maybe one that just kind of chopped, and why did it chop, that type of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about Tesla. So why didn't Tesla break out on Friday? So let's take a look. So as you guys know, I go through a lot of the different time frames, and before looking to take on a trade, right, if you're focusing on one name particularly, and looking to trade Tesla on a Friday, right, so you got to be careful, right? So, but a couple things that we like to look at is, let's kind of clean this up a little bit. So monthly chart. Hey, you guys notice I always start these videos off with the monthly chart, right? We want to see what's going on. So the prior month was great, right? We had a nice big green month, but so far this month it's been a big red month so far, right? So we're fighting a lot of heavy selling pressure this month, right? So this month right here, nice green month, and then we had a nice inside month, right? That broke out and really started to move, right? So that kind of shows, how this trend is moving right here. Now this month we're contending with a lot of selling pressure, right? So weekly chart, right? Same stuff, right? So we had a good couple weeks right here, but this last week, right, we're still dealing with a big red week. So it's hard to go long. It doesn't mean that we don't, right? Because trends start to change at the lower time frames. We have to go to those nitty gritties to see how it's going to move. And this was kind of the big start of the move up right here. And we had the macro trend line right here. This is this line right here. That's a very, very key level to hold. That's all the way here since the Corona crash. Basically, not much of a crash for Tesla, but it held its upward trend line pretty nicely here. And then we had a bump line off of that, right? And this bump line has been holding pretty well. We've been getting a lot of bounces off that. We had a nasty down move right here, and we bounced off of it right off the 50-day as well, right? And then we got over the 80-MA. We got some nice follow through on that one, but we didn't break out there, right? So we just kind of chopped around a little bit, came back down again, right? So to me, a lot of this is looking like a possible ABC pattern, and we might be so that's your A, that's your B, that's your C, and we might be trying to work our way up right here. But don't forget, there's pullbacks that get there, right? And also, here's the K8 EMA, the exponential moving average here on the daily chart, right? Look how that served as big resistance, right? So these are kind of levels that we want to mark, especially going on intraday, right? So if we go here, right, one thing we could do is you just kind of put a line right there. You can kind of change the color of it if you want to make it like blue, right? That's a huge, huge level to kind of keep in mind, and you can even label it, right? 8 EMA, right? So let's see, so 8 EMA right there, show label, yes. Always. Let's just do that, right? So I'm going to call that the ADMA on that one, right? So let's go. So let's go now. Let's take a look at a couple of different time frames intraday and see where we might have run into some resistance on this one. So let's take a look here. I'm just going to pull it up here. There. All right. So that didn't label. I guess that's what it wants, is the label right there. So I'm going to put that on there. How do I put that? Can I put the label on here? I don't know. It's not really showing as ADMA on that one. But anyway, that's the idea. I don't know why it's stretching off into infinity. But anyway, look at that. That is a huge level. That was the ADMA resistance right there. So that was a big level to contend with. So when we look at Tesla, a couple of things we want to look at, right? So we had a nice breakout at the open on Monday. So pre-market, right? Tesla trades a lot pre-market, so that gives us a lot of good clues into what could be happening the next day. So we talked about this. We had a nice triangle pre-market. We broke out there. We retested the triangle, and then we bounced off of that at the open. So that's a good place to get long, right? So or potentially, if you don't like trading the open, then don't trade it. But this downward move right here was a nice area, right, to get a nice trade here. I mean, talk about a 13-point range right off of these levels, right? Once we broke through here, or you could wait for a potential momentum move through the pre-market highs to get a little bit of a trade right there. Okay, so that's the first area. But the real question is, why didn't we break out above there? Well, the ADMA served as big resistance, but why else? What other areas are there, right? So we got to go back, right? So the prior day, no big deal, right? We cleared the prior day's highs. That's great. Okay, well, we're over that day's highs, but where could we be running to? Always have to look where we're running to resistance, so it helps to zoom out a little bit. The day before was a big drop day for Tesla here. Huge upper shadows pre-market, big drops after hours, right? This is the what wasn't this, like pre-battery day type stuff, right? And so we got a big down move there, or maybe this was battery day, right? So that was a what day was that? That was the the 22nd. So that was a battery day. So after hours, battery day was not good for Tesla, right? It tried to work its way back up, right? It reclaimed a good portion of the range here to here. Right, so we got about to a 618 or 50% retrace right in this area, and then we dropped. Right, so this is a huge drop zone. So if we even just ignore the pre-market levels, we can see we dropped very, very hard off this big upper shadow off of this. So what we want to do is we want to kind of put some levels off of that where this drop zone is right here. Just take the upper shadow off of that and stretch it forward. Right, so that was a big area right here, right, of potential resistance, and it corresponded with the ADMA. Right, so we got that going on. So we had a nice move at the open, right? No question about it. That was a great, dip by here, right to the pre-market triangle, and gave a nice bounce up right there. And you got a little bit of extra momentum through the prior day's high to get here, and then it pulled back, right? It got shy. It didn't do like a huge, short squeeze there at the open. That's a concern, right? We also, that initial move at the open was a big upper shadow, right? So that's also a concern. It's like, wait a second, what's going on here? If this thing's really going to move today on a Friday, right? We want this thing to break out. So real quick review on options, okay, for Friday, right? So how do we define an option? The option's value, right? So option value is equal to, right, intrinsic plus extrinsic value, right? And then so intrinsic is the basically the absolute value of the strike minus stock price. Okay, and the extrinsic value is equal to you basically have your theta, your time decay, and your volatility. Okay, so that's the this is the basic definition. This is how we calculate option value, right? So this is very, very important, especially on a Friday, right? So option value is intrinsic, extrinsic value. Intrinsic value is essentially the absolute value of the strike price minus stock price. So in other words, if you're buying a 400 call, right, and you're at 404, your intrinsic value is 404 minus 400, right? So the option value is worth at least $4, right? But we know that Tesla oftentimes is a little bit more pricing than that. So why is it so much pricing? Because the volatility is so high on this darn thing, right? So what happens on Fridays, your time decay, right, basically goes to zero. I mean, after 12 o'clock, it decays so fast, right? You can basically consider it zero. So the rest of the stock price on this one, the rest of the option price on this one is your volatility, right? So so if this is, let's look at the 400 calls on Tesla real quick. So let's go to Tesla. So 200920. Let's say you're just trading Friday's options, right? Let's say we're trading the 400s. So around here at 404, right, at 1030, right? Let's take a look and see how much they cost. Okay, so let's see at 440 or 430, right? They cost about $8. Okay, so that is double what the intrinsic value is. So this is all half of the price of those premiums is volatility, which means any pullback that you see on this thing is going to crush it really quickly, right? So you can go from $8 down to $7 really quickly in another few minutes, right, down to $6, right? So you lose like a quarter of the value, like really, really quickly, right? So so that's important, right? It's important to look at, right, when we're looking at options. So if you're going out, even if you're in the money, right, it's tough, especially when you're trading something with such high volatility. So you've got to nail the entry on these things, right, especially on a Friday. Right, so this is we got a couple levels right here. Big resistance, 80 MA, big drop zone from the other day, right up here, right, from just 2 days ago, right. So just go back a couple days, not too much. Next day, not enough is not enough. Just because you break out over that level doesn't mean you're not. Well, why did this thing pull back? Because it was running into this stuff, right? All that selling pressure, right? There's a reason that there's a pivot right there, right? Because of this. Got to get through this stuff. So that is key, right? So if you start to see things start to move through there, right? Everything's great. Everything's awesome, right? So, but other than that, careful, right? So that's the big deal, right? So let's go to the 5-minute chart here and just kind of look. So normally, right here, right, we saw a lot of upper shadows right here, right? There's a lot of selling pressure coming in at the open. So if we're looking for a key entry on a Friday, right, what do we want to do? If this thing's, if we're generally bullish on this thing, we're like, okay, heavy monthly chart, heavy weekly chart, but I really think that we're going to get some follow through off of this 50 moving average bounce and the bump line bounce. I really think this thing's going to go, right? Well, all right, so it gave you initially, right, just in the first 5-minute candle, big upper shadows, upper shadows, upper shadows. If you this is where the only chance is to buy a dip, because trying to buy a breakout on a Friday is based on this, right, could be a recipe for disaster, right, unless you're lucky, right? So or volume, right, or volume really starts to increase. But look at this volume is just kind of tapering down like all day. There was no interest in Tesla that day, right? So so that's the other thing too. It's tough, right? That's the 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, right? You got one breakout candle here with some increased volume, and that was about it, right? And then it drifted back off of it. But you can see right here, right off of this, right? Here's your move. Let's get a Fibonacci retrace on this one. So you get this right here. This right here. There you go. There's your 618. There's your lower shadow off the 618. Don't necessarily have to buy it right there, but I love how this corresponded with the pre-market highs. Lower shadow right here off the 618, tagged it, bounced off it, then it gave you an inside 5. If anything, this is the area to get long at 10:15 off the 5-minute chart and try to get up to these levels, but don't, let's not bank on the breakout here. Make that the target. Right, there was also a pivot level up here to one of our levels that we use intraday too. Big resistance, right? Big resistance in this area, right? So let's take a look here. Let's look at Tesla, 200925 calls. Let's look at the 400s, right? Let's say we buy this. Let's just say we just take the breakout here at between 10:15 and 10:20 off of that inside candle on the 400 calls. And now let's look at off of buying that dip, right? And then there was another dip too to buy a little bit later too. So so if we go there, so these are the 400 calls here. right? So at 10, 10, 10, 15, here's your inside candle, right? So you can get long here, right? Now you're entering at 565. You get a quick move out, you get a quick 1 point move, no problem taking profit right here, but still holding these levels pretty well, right? So, you know, basically just retesting, you know, I mean, if anything, gotta have a nice controlled stop here below the inside 5. Right, so here, you know, entry at $5.50, stop at $4.40, so a 1 point stop right there. It eventually worked its way back up and popped before the next pullback to get to $9 from $5.70. That's the trade right there. That's the move. Trying to bank on a breakout, trying to get through all that resistance is really, really tough, right? So you see how we do that, right? So we look at and see what's going on. We want to see what's going on in the monthly chart, right? Real quick, it doesn't take that long. We got 5 minutes, you know, before the setup even happens, right? So boom, real quick. Okay, I'm dealing with a red month. I'm fighting this. I'm fighting all this red, right? I want to see if I can get fall through. I want to see if I can fill this gap. It's Tesla, right? It's Friday. I could do it, right? But, you know, can it? Maybe. 30-minute chart, right? I mean, you can look at the 60-minute chart too. Got to be careful, right? So 60-minute chart, look what happened, right? After that, if you want to, you know, try to hold this thing, we had an big inside 60 and that broke down. That's kind of sketchy, right? You go to the 30-minute chart, right? Kind of same stuff right here. Inside 30 up, then inside 30 down, right? So we want to watch that. It's a big reversal, right? That type of concept, right? So. And then finally, the intraday, right? So the key thing, the key consideration was that ADMA, which is this line right here, and then where we dropped 2 days ago right here. And right, I mean, this was some heavy, heavy selling pressure, and we ran into it the day before, right? We had a nice move from here to here, and that was it. That was the trade. So we want to try to get in on the pullback, right? Especially on a Friday, because we try to buy a breakout on a Friday, it's tough, right? Because you have that theta is all gone. There's no more time. It's all volatility, and Tesla is very volatile, right? It's like, I think the volatility, I'm just going to go check real quick right here. The volatility right now, just going into this week's, is 100%. Right, so last week I think it was like 170, right? So huge amounts of volatility, and if that thing moves, it's going to move those options premiums like crazy, right? And anyway, kind of cool stuff right there. So there was another move right here too, right? Also gave didn't quite give a 382 off of this one, but you know, ultimately this was a 382 off the lows right here. So this was an area of consideration to try to get long again. We came back and we retested the prior day's highs right here. Right, we held this level, right? We consolidated here, and that gave a nice little pop back up right here off of that, right? So that was the next area. That was a macro 382 move up. It did consolidate a little bit and then work its way to the high. So we did hold those levels of the prior day. We got to be careful, right? We're going into that resistance. Look where it got to. We got into resistance right here, and it came down after hours. So anyway, that's Tesla. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have an awesome trading day tomorrow and an awesome trading week ahead. So good stuff. So awesome. So let's take a look. Let's go to the daily chart. Shirley sent a few in via email, which we always appreciate. I'm going to get rid of a couple of these things right here, clean up the chart a little bit, get rid of that crazy ADMA right there. Okay, cool. And then just kind of go from there. So good. So again, guys, thanks everybody for keeping Shirley in your thoughts and prayers as she gets better every day. So we have a few good ones here to take a look at. So let's take a look at Run. I love the name Run, right? First time. Oh, Run is running. Anyway, solar name. Woo! Nice breakout on this one. I like it. I like the increased volume. Again, solar's just been really epic recently. So let's keep Run on the bullish radar going into tomorrow. It's looking pretty good. I like how it's over the ADMA. And that one, nice find there. Let's take a look at NVTA. Invite. Yeah, so that's pretty nice too. I like the close over these levels right here. The only thing I don't like is the declining volume. There's a little bit of divergence on that one. A little caution there. DKNG. I think you said DKNG. Unless you said Duncan, I can't remember. But anyway, DKNG, interesting, is possible hanging man right here. So this one's a little bit tricky. Could be working on a bit of a bull flag. Let's just continue to keep an eye on it. More sports that get out there that start playing again. We got that going. I can't remember if you said DKNG or Duncan, but Duncan is breaking out, but watch out the volume on that one. So that's another one to take a look at too. So, and then QCOM. Interesting, right? So it's kind of looking like a bit of a flag right here. It's kind of a funky flagpole, right? Kind of going this way. But yeah, let's see if we can get over there. I like the volume that's coming in. Let's see if we can get above those levels here and try to pop off of that one. So that could be interesting. So good stuff there. Almo, what's going on? Good to see you. Adobe. Yeah, so Adobe looking interesting, right? So Adobe inside week. That's going to give us some big levels. I think LRCX was an inside week too. No, that was last week. Oh, inside week up last week. Woo! Look at that one. 315 all the way up to 330 for a nice 15-point move on LRCX. So we'll see if we get some follow through on that one. It's declining volume on the weekly chart. Inside day right here running into the cloud. Watch that as potential resistance on LRCX. But back to Adobe right here. Let's take a look. Yeah, and Adobe's kind of range bound. right? So again, that's your inside weak areas right here. So let's see how it goes. See how it handles those levels. That's going to kind of be the key area, how it handles these weekly levels right here. Will be important. But it did have good earnings, right? So this is one to definitely keep an eye on to see if they try to rally this thing up and continue to go. I like the rising cloud, right? Let's see, just kind of see how it goes right here. It closes over the ADMA. Volume's a little bit blah. But if software gets strong again, this is definitely another one to keep an eye on. Great stuff, Alma. I appreciate it. NLS. The Nest. What's going on? Good to see it. Yep, still working its way up the channel right here. So let's see if we continue to go. Pins. Pins was looking pretty interesting, right? So we had a upper shadow last week. So far here, again, another bounce off the 618 off the ADMA. So let's see if that can go. I don't like how the volume's going on it, but we'll continue to watch it and see how it goes. Big C. Big C, kind of chopping around down here. Could be working on the kind of like a bear pennant type look. Right, just kind of see how it holds. I know it's trying a little bit right here, but it had a nasty down move. We had this pennant here that worked its way back down. Just a little bit of caution on that one. Right, see how that one goes. And then Pepsi. Yeah, nice push into the cloud right there. Watch the 200-day moving average above. Target. Let's take a look at Target. Looking okay right here. Again, volume's a little bit blah, but I like the rising ADMA, so it's getting a little consolidated up there. Let's see if we can try to give a little move off of that. GME. Again, this thing, I mean, for whatever reason, getting hot again. Why, I have no idea. I mean, apparently they've got good cash on the books and all that stuff, and I don't know. Eventually, it's just amazing. I don't know if their business model is really sustainable, but whatever. Big breakout candle right here, decreasing volume and bounce off the ADMA. And of course, it's hot right now because of the Cohen write up and all that stuff. So we got that going on. Nike's interesting. I definitely want to keep this one on the radar, right? So. I like how things are kind of starting to turn up. I like the inside 60 back up, right? So I like the green candle right here. I like how we're holding the ADMAs. Let's see if it defends the gap and can try to work its way back. Nike is looking interesting for a potential rally off of the earnings move. Here's your kind of your move right here. Yeah, it's kind of holding on to like a 382 area right here with a nice spinning top. So let's see if that can hold going into tomorrow. Nike could be interesting. I'm going to put it on the bullish radar tomorrow. Just kind of track it and see how that goes. I like the potential for that one. Otherwise, watch out for a bounce off of the ADMA. See if that holds. Okay, good stuff. What else? VRTX. Let's take a look. VRTX. Yep, still chopping around there. Looks like a big triangle here between. I mean, I love how the 50 and the 200 are kind of drawing the triangle for us. So that's looking pretty good. So Netties. Let's take a look at Netties right here. So again, really tight here as well. A couple ways to look at it, right? Could be a bear flag in the works right here. I mean, kind of interesting there, but it is holding the cloud, so it also could be a triangle too. So just see if it could break out of that area a little bit. So it could be interesting. ZEK, what's going on? NCLH. Yeah, so definitely keep an eye on the cruise lines. Good volume on that one. Nice push there. Let's see if we get some follow through on that one. Would be nice. And then AMD, guys, another one to keep an eye on too. Really tight range right here and an inside weak. So definitely keep an eye on AMD and see if we can break. I like how it bounced off the cloud. The volume's been a little bit blah, but if we get over that 50-day moving average, get over that inside weak, we might have an interesting move this week, which could be good. Christian, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. AAL. So AAL, yeah, I think AAL is almost a Morningstar reversal. Let me calculate this real quick. Make sure we're 50% of the range there. So the high here was 1274, and the low was 1191. And so that puts the midpoint of 1232. It's not a Morningstar reversal. We did not close above $12 and really say 33 cents, and just below it, 1229. So not quite a Morningstar reversal, but an interesting key reversal move. So let's see if we can get above those levels, get above the 80 and the 50-day, and maybe try to work its way back up to the cloud. But again, watch that as potential resistance. You might want to just kind of bounce off of that too. So something to look at there. So good stuff. Michael, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. SPI. I know the crazy name. Look at that one. That was incredible, right? Big push up right there. Big inside day, and then nasty down move off it. So a little bit of caution on that, but that was a fun one right there. Sunw. Another wild one, too. Look at Sunworks. Yeah, it's very similar to that SPI. Very cool stuff on there. And then PEC. Yeah, another big one right there. Big move up there. Inside day, and then you got your cloud right below it. Some wild moves on those. You found the wild ones, Michael. Nice stuff right there. And then Rocky, run. Looking good right there. Nice find. Shirley found a two great minds thinking alike. I like the close. I like the increased volume. I like how it closed at all-time highs on over those levels. So let's see if we get some follow through on those ones. Tesla and the RSI is on point. Nice. Let's take a look here. It's I assume you're talking about the daily, so let's take a look here. See how it's looking. Yep, so RSI is kind of working its way back up here. We're kind of in the middle of the range right here. But we did get, look at that, we did have a bearish divergence here to here, just saying, right? That did kind of start things going there on Tesla, which is pretty cool. So it is kind of grinding its way up here a little bit. So let's see how that goes on Tesla. So good stuff there, and probably also good on the intraday as well. And if anybody enjoyed that reverse engineered RSI, it's pretty cool stuff. So Michael, so how nasty would it be if you test the bottom channel? I know it would be nasty. Anyway, good stuff right there. Jameis, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. Yep, so SPX, of course, we looked at that at the beginning as always. But again, here's that channel right here. Yeah, so Michael was talking about testing possibly the bottom of the channel. Oh, nasty, back down to 3,000. Then we see where we go from there. But it's trying to poke its head above it, so let's see if we try to work its way back up again. We're going to keep our fingers crossed on that one. Square, not really a good strategy for trading. Finger crossing, it's a tough one. But anyway, inside day up there, bounce off the 80 MA. Let's see, it's got a lot of crazy levels right here that it's got to get above, but next level up is a here and then here, right? So we'll see how that goes on square. Could be interesting, or it's working on a bear flag. And then BA squeezing out the shorts on Friday, right? So nice breakdown, nice confirmation move out of the triangle right here. Great follow through on Thursday. Nasty short squeeze on Friday, right? So look at that, just wild stuff right here. Here's a couple of our projections going into Friday, but again, this is just an 80 MA all day, just squeezing out shorts all day on Friday. Pretty amazing stuff on Boeing, right? So pretty neat stuff there. Okay, what else? And then Beyond. Oh, guys, Beyond. Okay, so nice move on Beyond, right? So it's looking pretty interesting, but I'd say this thing's all over the place, right? So here's your big geometric line we kind of want to look at right here. Definitely a more, Morningstar reversal type setup right here. Now, we weren't in a downtrend. It was only a 2-candle downtrend, so that doesn't really count. But it is interesting, right? So let's see how it goes up here. Maybe it could push its way back above. Maybe it can hit this 157 area, and then maybe retest that 160 area on Beyond. So pretty cool stuff there. Michael, yeah, CRSR. Let's take a look. Yes, CRSI. Whoa, nice gap up over the inside down. That one's a good job on that. And then U. Oh, yeah, Unity already making its debut. Totally unprofitable company, but they buying it up anyway. So there it goes there. They do make cool technology, though, for gaming. So maybe they'll make some money now that they're public. We'll see. Smile Direct looking pretty interesting here, too. Looking pretty good. I love that candle right there. I don't like the volume, but I do like the bounce off of this geometric line right here, and look at that, just kind of ticked it, and then boom. So yeah, nice algorithmic move up. Bruce, what's going on? Yellow candles are inside candles, right? So an inside candle, lots of stuff. You got to look through the YouTube channel. We've done at least look for inside bars, inside candles, inside bars. I think I usually use as a heading. Very, very important stuff. Key stuff, right? It's basically a pricing decision, right? I mean, oftentimes we can see movements off of this, right? Here's a double inside up, double inside, ultimately down, right? Inside down, right? So pretty cool stuff there. It's an important tool. But yeah, yellow just kind of highlights the inside candle, just kind of let us know that, hey, there's some pricing decision going on here. Pay attention, right? That type of stuff. So Michael, yeah, Workhorse, take a look. So Workhorse looking pretty good right there. Looks like almost a Morningstar reversal off of that one. We can do a quick calculation here to see. So that high was 26.35. The low was 21.76. By 2, 24.05. Yep, so we got a Morningstar reversal candidate right here. It rejected the 80 MA, but if we can push above there, Workhorse might try to work its way back up again. Remember, Workhorse break your heart. It's a heartbreaker. Careful on that one. Mukul, what's going on? PRPL. Let's take a look. So yeah, so Purple Innovation. Decent candle right there. I like what it's doing a little bit. So again, running right into geometric resistance to see if we can get some follow through on that one. A little caution, but something to keep an eye on right there. Jameis Facebook. Let's take a look. Take a look at Facebook. Yeah, not quite a Morningstar reversal. Right at the 80 MA here. Big resistance right here that it tried to hold as support, and now it CLs resistance. Right, kind of see how it goes. Right, so it's a little bit tricky right there. Kind of a funky candle, but really looks like it's starting to work on a downtrend. We just haven't confirmed yet, right, on the daily chart. We're still in the trend box right here. So a push below here with some increased volume, 244.13, might see Facebook, working on filling this gap right here. You got an open gap right there, but I'm not saying it's looking bleak like that, but it needs to hold, needs to get back above the cloud and over the 50-day like everything else. So other than that, everything's just kind of a little bit blah. Tracy, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Apple, let's take a look. Okay, so Apple, so declining volume here. This is definitely going to stay, on our bullish radar. This one did one of the first ones to get over the cloud, get over the 8, get over the 50, right? So that's good. So let's see if it works its way back up here, and maybe give us a little bit of a kind of an ABC move right here, and then kind of bounce its way back up, get going again on Apple. So we'll see how that goes right there. But so far so good. I like over the 50-day. Costco earnings on Friday, decent earnings, right? So it ended up giving a big reversal off of it, but it rejected a lot of levels early, right? So it was down, and then you had a big upper shot right here, 15-order breakdown for a quick move, and then just kind of stayed within the 15-order range. Kind of a slow trudge back up for the rest of the day, but it left you with a hammer, but below the 80 MA. But I like how it held the 50. Let's see if we can see a push right there. Let's see if we get over 345 and where it goes from that. And then TDOC. Let's say TDOC, decent move right there. Got over some key levels. Looks like it's trying to get back in that old channel that we were tracking on this thing, right? Bounce, bounce, right? Back in this area right here. So see how this area holds right now. I do like how it's trying to get over the cloud, so that's good. And then UPS, nice reversal on Friday, but again, still range bound, right? Still range bound. Okay, so let's see. Just be careful with this one. This could be a distribution period, right? They might be working on doing a markdown on it, so just a little bit of caution off of that one. And then Michael Clow. Yep, Cloud Computing ETF looking good right here. Nice spinning top, kind of a Morningstar-ish type pattern right there. So, but good volume on that one. So see if the cloud names should get some follow through going into tomorrow. That would be cool. And then Nikola, yeah, Nikola, guys, that's gonna be tough unless they come out and somehow say that they're legit. Watch out for another bear flag on that one. Doji reversal. Friday was the day for it to really try, but this candle is just nasty under the 200-day moving average, right? So just a little bit of caution off of that one. Pop or drop, what's going on? J&J, let's take a look. So J&J, yeah, still kind of hanging in there. Did this little macro bull flag, retested, kind of worked its way back up, but couldn't get over the prior all-time high resistance. Came back down again. It's back over the 200-day. So something to keep an eye right here, but watch out in case it's bear flagging right here, right? So I don't know if I called the other bear flag a bull flag, but anyway, flagging there. So just a little bit of caution on that one. Umesh, what's going on? MRVL. So another semi right here. So yeah, so this one's getting really tight, right? So definitely something to keep an eye on right here. I don't know if it was, yeah, triple inside week, very rare. So I would imagine this thing gets moving sometime soon. Let's keep it on the semi, see if they can get strong, see if we can break out, get you some volume out of here, and see if they can get moving again. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, absolutely. So the next, yeah, Square again, running into a little bit of resistance up here. Workhorse. Again, nice Morningstar-ish reversal candle right here. It's just got to get back over the 80 MA and see if we can push on that one. Just a little bit of caution, right, because it's Workhorse. And then Tracy, Microsoft, Mr. Softy. So again, it's kind of struggling here in the cloud. This has been giving us some blah price action today. It did have a big green day, which helped carry the Dow on Friday, but it's still below its 50, still below the cloud. So let's see if these things can get strong, get going again. Keep an eye on it if the software sector stays strong. Bruce, yeah, and V, yeah, my pleasure. So V, kind of hanging in here a little bit. Again, we got our geometric lines right here. It could be working on a bit of a kind of a falling wedge right here. So just see if it breaks out of there, give you some volume out of those areas too. So that could be good. And then Umesh, yeah, Baba. So let's take a look at Baba right here. So Baba, really, really choppy area. It's testing these prior areas, resistance to support, right? So see if it holds. Maybe it could give a little bounce off of that one. It's a tricky one to trade. Again, UPS, range bound. Nice candle on Friday, but still range bound. It needs some more work. And again, watch out in case it's a distribution period. ARKG is running into some resistance, but again, see if we can get a breakout of that one with some volume. Maybe get some follow through on that one. I'm assuming you mean like Apple, not the petroleum company, old petroleum company, but yeah, Apple again bouncing off the cloud. Let's see if we get some volume, get this thing going again too. JD again, keep an eye on the Chinese names, see how they go right here. But again, watch out for that geometric line right there. Right, we're still kind of struggling with that a little bit. And then UPS again, yeah, just looked at that one too. So good stuff. Yeah, my pleasure, McCool. Yeah, my pleasure, Michael. Do all gaps eventually fill, or is that traders folklore? Now I would say yeah. I mean, I think they do. I mean, I've never seen them not. So unless you get to the listed, at which point that's like the ultimate gap fill, right? All gaps are filled instantly, right? So like luck in coffee, right? But yeah, they get filled, man. It just happens. So it's crazy stuff. But price doesn't like to leave gaps. It likes to test levels. It's like, wait, hold on. There's something to test in here. There's a reason, right? So usually it comes back, tests it, and moves on, right? So it keeps things interesting, right? But you really can't prove it because the market continues to move on, right? So until then, we just say that it does. Say 99%. So everybody, yeah, Umesh, yeah, thanks, yeah, I always appreciate that. Everybody gives likes on the YouTube. I always appreciate that. So yeah, Pop or Drop, my pleasure. Nvidia, Tracy, you got lots of stuff tonight here. Yeah, so Nvidia looking pretty interesting, right? So we have this, nice consolidated breakout. This is a beautiful move on Friday. It really was. I mean, this is, if you weren't messing with Boeing, the squeeze or anything else, I mean, just Nvidia was just this nice 80 MA day, like all day. Just a beautiful move on Nvidia on Friday. So again, let's see if we can follow through. The volume really wasn't there. It was Friday, blah, but it was a beautiful, beautiful day. So we had that going on. Zoom, what's this thing up to right here? So inside day, gave an amazing move up. So this is kind of reminds me of the Nike chart. right? That Nike chart right there. We got that little pulled back and kind of gave us. So keep an eye on Nike, see if it kind of works on a little bit of reversal back up again. Zoom again kind of held a lot of key Fibonacci's, kept on bouncing off of it, keeps on bouncing off the 80MA. Inside day here, incredible move up 31 points. Again, see if you take the inside day up on that one. Bruce, yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, Snowflake is a good time. So it's all over the place, but it definitely gives some wild moves for sure. That's not Snowflake. Sebastian, yeah, so just went over MRVL, triple inside week. Good to see you, man. Yeah, triple inside week, big triangle, right? See if we break out of there, get some volume out of that one. ZS. Yeah, ZS kind of doing its thing here. So just watch that potential resistance here, get a little move off of that one. Watch the volume on it. Starbucks, very interesting. Caution on Starbucks, right? I was looking at this weekend. Possible bear flag. Big moves down here, big gaps. Just a little bit of caution. I mean, obviously it can still work its way back up, but just a little bit of caution on it. I want to see how it handles, like, the top of the bear flag, and then see if it works its way from there. Mickey D's. Yeah, Mickey D's is with the slow grind up right here. This is our trade of the week from back here. It got really, really tight and it started to work its way back up. Now it's just kind of getting tight again right here. But again, watch out for a potential bear flag on that one too, as it's broken down below the upward trend line. So watch for a high volume breakdown below there, and then maybe it'll kind of work its way back down to the cloud. So something to keep an eye on there. And then PFE, I don't even mess with this one anymore. It's just all over the place. It's tough to get a real consistent move on it. I mean, you get like 1 or 2 days, then it pulls back. 1 or 2 days, just nasty. So, and then it does this. So I think we're in this area right here. But watch it, if you do get a nasty move here out of the cloud, it is holding it as support. But if you get a nasty breakdown on this one, just kind of look out below. You got a big open gap right here. So something to that one. End all gap fill. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The end. It's the ultimate gap fill, right? Exactly. So good stuff there. Well, awesome stuff, guys. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. You guys are awesome. I hope everybody has a great trading day tomorrow. We'll see you guys bright and early when we do the Good Morning Market prep on YouTube. So if you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube so you can check out our other videos and also check out our playlist. We've got over 1,000 videos on there. I think over 2,000 if you include the stuff we do in our private Twitter. So lots of great educational stuff. Be sure to hit the like button whether you're new here or not, and even if you're watching the video, just hit the like button because it goes a long way. I really appreciate it, and check out the links in the description. So good stuff, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game.